Here we are, chilling with the boys in the park. This is episode 4 of the tutorial. We're going to create a handler function to handle displaying vowels count. Okay, so what this function will do is it's going to handle when the user input or clicks submit. It's going to handle taking whatever they inputting it into our function we created before in the last episode, this get all vowels, and then it's going to take the return of that and it's going to use that to populate each one of these cells with the correct value. Okay, here we go. So let's get rid of where we used the function right off the bat in the last episode. Okay, and we're going to start by creating another function. This one's going to be called const handle submit button pressed. Okay, just like that. All right, so we need to get the value of the input field. Remember before, the input field, we got it right here. So let's take that variable, okay, down here, get the value of it, okay, and we're going to set that equal to a variable, and that variable is going to be input text. Okay, so text is in the input. Okay. Then we have to call our function we created up here, the get vowels count. Okay, so we call the get vowels count to get how many vowels of each vowel is in our input text, and we pass it the input text variable that we just created, right, like that. So it goes in there, and this is going to spit out that object that we created from last time that has all the counts for the vowels. Now remember, at the end we created a variable to store this output, and we'll just call it vowels count this time. Okay, then after that, step 4, for each vowel we're going to set the table data values equal to the count for the vowel. Okay, I spelled equal wrong, whoops. Okay, how do we do that? So for each table data values, I didn't know how to get the table values, so remember, these are right here inside of our table in the HTML table. We have the head section, but we don't want the head section, we want the body and these table data sections right here. Each one of these should be populated with the corresponding vowel, A, E, I, so on. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, I searched how to get the cells on a table, and you get a reference to the table, which we already did. That's this right here. Okay, then you do dot rows, and you get the whatever row you want, starting at 0. So the 0 row is going to be our header. We don't want that. That would be these ones right here. Oop. That'd be these ones. Okay, we don't want those ones. We want the second row, which would be row 1. So we do table element dot rows. We get the first row. We get the second row, which is row 1, not row 0. Then we need to get the column or cell of that row in this case, and in that, this is just an array too, and we get the first cell for the A one. Okay, because A is the first one in here, right there, 0. Okay, and then we do inner HTML to get the inner HTML. That's this part, the inner part in beside the element. That's the actual text value, and we set that equal to our vowels count. But remember, vowels count is an object that has a bunch of different values inside of it, and we want the A1 in this case. Okay, so we do vowels count A. Okay, And we're just going to do that same thing for E, I, O, U. But we need to make sure we change these cells. This is the second cell, 1, third cell, which is 2, fourth cell, 3, fifth cell. And then we need to make sure we change the vowel that we are accessing. So it's going to be E vowel, I, O, and U, just like that. And there, we are actually done. So we can go back, search, click refresh there. What we did wrong was that it's not cell. If you look back here, it's actually cells with an S. So that's just a typical debugging thing you have to do. You mess up sometimes, things don't work. You gotta figure out what you did wrong. It's just like a little puzzle all the time. So we put the S in for those. Let's try again. Refresh the page. What you're probably wondering is, why did that not work again? Well, that's because we didn't do step 5. Step 5 is to connect it all together. And right now, this handler is a function, but it's never called or used ever. It's not connected to the on-click event. And in the next video, that's what we'll do. But actually, no, we won't, because it's super easy. Let's just do it now. So for video 5, here we are. We're going to connect the handle submit button pressed function that we just created to the on-click event of the submit button. Okay, so in order to do that, we get, let's close this function. We need the submit button right here, the reference we have to the submit button, and we take its on-click event. We set that equal to the handler we created up here, handle submit button. Okay, and that's it. If we go back, try this one more time. There we go. It works, and it tells us each one of the vowels that we typed in. We had 3 A's, we had 2 E's, we had 0 I's, and we had 2 O's and 3 U's. All right, that's the end of this tutorial. That's how we get everything done. Hope to see you again some other time. AG.